My husband and I have been working to save up a $30K emergency fund in 30 weeks. Since we started this challenge on March 15th, our goal for March was to save up $3,000 toward our emergency fund in 3 weeks. In this video, I'm going to go over our expenses for the month of March. I'm also going to share where those income sources came from and if we were able to reach our goal for the month of March. Since there's a lot to cover, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Sorry about the lighting, the sun went down and I'm working with what I've got. I'm also going to be looking down at my screen because I still haven't gotten this recording thing figured out. First thing at the top is income. I've divided the income into 3 categories, and the first category is W-2 income, and that number is $6,856.23 in the month of March. The next category of income is extra income, and in March I earned $1,313.03. So I broke the extra income out into its own little box, and that total is broken down as follows. From Rakuten, I received $33 even. Next is high yield savings account interest, that's $70.03. The next item is medical claims, and that is $137.90. Next is credit card cash back, and in the month of March we received $138.52. Next is returns, and specifically this is shopping returns. I was helping my sister get ready for prom, and we bought a bunch of different things on Amazon, and we weren't sure if they were gonna fit, and ended up returning most of it, but she looks really cute at her prom. So that number was $162.86. Next is a reimbursement from my mom. I purchased some supplements for her, and that total was $187. The next line item is travel. Went on a trip with my dad, and he owed me some money for a plane ticket, and that number is $290. The final category under extra income is auto loan refund. We recently paid off our car, and this is the difference that the auto insurance company sent back to us, $293.72, and that all adds up to $1,313.03. The next item under income is our sinking fund. Right now we have only one sinking fund, and that is for personal spending. And in the month of March, we took $355.35 out of that sinking fund to use in the month of March. Okay, so the first item under expenses is rent, and that number in March, it's always the same, $1,195 for our apartment, and this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Next is electricity. That was $161.94 in March. And next was phones, $30, and the internet, $70. Those are always the same. These numbers won't change until the end of the year when our promotional period ends, and our provider will likely bump the price up a lot. Next item on the list is car and rent insurance. That was $366.78. Next is life insurance, $128.93. Next is gas for our car, and that was $207.99 in March. Subscriptions in March was $43.07. In the month of March, we had a Paramount Plus subscription, but that promotional rate is over, so I went ahead and canceled it. Next category is entertainment, and that was $0 in March. The next category is household, and in the month of March, we spent $22.64. This was for gardening supplies because I'm trying to grow an herb garden in my kitchen. The next category is pest control, $39. And I said in a different video that we're going to be canceling this, and this subscription's going away going forward. The next category is beauty. We spent $46.80. This is just my husband's haircut, and I didn't spend anything on beauty in the month of March, which I'm really proud of. Next is gym. We spent $35.48. Gifts, we spent $93.96 in March. This includes my nephew's birthday. He got a video game. We took him out to the arcade, and then he went to get pizza as well at Pizza Hut. We also bought some Easter candy at Costco. In order to throw an egg hunt in the month of April, we went ahead and bought the candy in March so that we could go ahead and fill the eggs and everything. We also bought some chocolate bunnies for our nieces and nephews for Easter, as well as some plastic eggs. Okay, next category is a big one. Groceries, $9 $990.62. Going forward, my goal is to spend $900 on groceries. However, we didn't start that challenge till the middle of March, so that's why this one's a little bit higher. I didn't reach my goal because I didn't technically have the goal until the middle of the month, so that is why that's a little bit higher than $900. Hopefully this category will be better going forward. The next item is travel. This is $654. This is basically a trip that my husband and I and my siblings are going on in the month of April in Florida. The next item is pharmacy/medical, and in the month of March we spent $457.74. This includes some prescriptions and some co-pays because we met our medical insurance deductible in the month of March, so we still had a little bit to pay, and I think there are still some unpaid bills rolling in from before we met our deductible. Okay, the next category is supplements. We spent $92.85. Some months are higher than others, and this was just a high month for supplements. The next category is eating out. We actually did really well on this category, $216.07. I'm honestly not sure why this is so low. We normally spend about $600, and I think we just ate out at cheaper places this month. So a couple times we went to pick up the food, and then other times we ordered from a cheaper place. But yeah, I'm really proud of that number actually. The next item is personal spending for me, and that number was $142.95. Going forward for the rest of the year, I'm going to be doing a low buy challenge for 2026, and this number will go down a lot. I can explain that in another video, but basically our sinking fund is set for the year, and once I hit that amount, I can't spend anything else. I think I've got about $400 left in my personal spending sinking fund, so I'm going to post another video about my low buy challenge and the rules I'm going to set for the rest of the year so that $400 will last me throughout the rest of the year. Next is my husband's personal spending category. He spent $212.40 in the month of March. So he likes to get his monthly allowance in cash, and it helps him stick to a budget. I think the beginning of the month he got $40 a week, and because we started this challenge, he decided to cut his allowance down to $30 for the rest of the month. So those numbers are combined here. The next category is school expenses. In March we spent $15, and this amount will get reimbursed next month because we have a family member who is helping us with some school expenses. The next two categories are our debt categories. The first being student loan, which is my student loan, $230. Next is our only credit card debt. It's on a 0% interest card. We bought a mattress, and the monthly payments for that is $63. I believe there's only $500 or so left to pay on this card, so we should be done paying off this credit card by the end of the year. All right, so next is the big number, emergency fund. After adding up all the categories, I basically just put the remainder into this category because our emergency fund was our main goal for this month, so everything left over went into savings for this goal, and that number was $3,008.39. So we did reach our goal for the month of March. Granted, it was an easier month since we started the 30K in 30 weeks challenge in the middle of March, so if this had been a 4-week month, we would have been short by about $1,000. However, I'm really proud of us. I'm really happy with this number, and it's way more than we normally have left over at the end of the month, so I am really proud of us for reaching that goal, and we're going to reach even higher. We're going to try to hit $4,000 in 4 weeks in the month of April, so stay tuned for that. The final thing I wanted to talk about is under the to-do list. In the month of March, I wanted to start the process for a few items on our list that were going to take a little bit of time. So I went ahead and started some things on our extra income plan. The first thing I did in March was to open up 2 bank accounts with bonuses, one for me and one for my husband. And I opened up an account with Chime Bank for both my husband and for me. And the reason I went ahead and opened this in March is because it takes about 90 days to get the bonus, so I wanted to make sure that we went ahead and got that process started. So we accomplished that goal. The next item that I accomplished in March was to open up 2 credit cards with bonuses. The first one I opened up was the Chase Premier card. That one has a $750 bonus, and I did qualify for that, so I opened that up for myself. The only caveat is there was a $95 annual fee that I had to pay for this card, but it was still worth it after you net out the the $95, it's still going to be about a $650 bonus. So I went ahead and signed up anyway. If I don't like the card and I don't get as much out of it to make the $95 fee worth it, I'm probably just going to cancel the card after a year to avoid incurring another $95 fee. Another caveat is that in order to get the $750 bonus, you have to spend $5,000 on this card in 90 days, which is going to be a pretty big challenge for us since we're cutting back our spending in the next few months. However, I just went ahead and signed up. First of all, because I ran our budget numbers and figured out that we could potentially hit $5,000 in 3 months, especially if I switch over all of our subscriptions and our bills to this new card. My friend's wedding is coming up in October and we're gonna need to buy some plane tickets for that, as well as dress alterations, and I'm sure there's gonna be other expenses connected with that wedding that we can put on this card specifically in the next 3 months. We'll see if we hit the $5,000 spend requirement to get the bonus in 90 days, but I'm pretty confident so far based on the numbers I ran that we're gonna hit that number. If we don't get the bonus, I'll be out $95 because they charged me the annual fee right away, but at the very least we can get some credit card points back, which would more than cover the $95 spend. And then for my husband, I opened up the Chase Freedom Flex card. They were offering a $200 bonus, and the threshold to meet that is a lot easier. You only have to spend $500 in, I think, 90 days in order to make the $200 bonus. The final thing on our list that we accomplished was to cancel pest control. My husband actually completed this to-do item, but I still put it on the list because we're a team. And going forward, that's going to save us $39 a month, which is great. I talked a little bit more about that in my video about our spending plan to reach 30K in 30 weeks, and this was one of the things on the list. So we did accomplish that, which is great. I created a couple trackers as a visual reminder for us to stay motivated to reach our goal. Since we were able to reach our goal for the month of March, I'm going to color in the rest of the March tracker as well as the March section of the 30K tracker. In case you're curious, here's the April tracker that I'm planning to use for next month. I went over our April spending plan in another video, which I can link below in the description, in case you're curious how we're planning to save $4,000 in 4 weeks in the month of April. In my next video, I'm planning to go over my low buy rules for 2026, since I'm planning to do a low buy challenge for the rest of the year. So feel free to subscribe if that's something you're interested in watching. If you've gotten to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear if there are any goals that you're planning to reach in the month of April. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.